Hello dear friend, and welcome to On This Day SMR with me, Edward Hertz, where we take a look back through history at events which took place on this day. The rain is gently pittering and pattering away on the window, and the fire is crackling away nicely in the hearth. So put your headphones on, sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey back through time. Today is Monday, the 12th of February 2024, and we have 47 events to cover, going all the way back to the year 10,096. Starting with the most recent event, which happened 5 years ago. The country, known as the Republic of Macedonia, renames itself the Republic of North Macedonia in accordance with the Prespa Agreement, settling a long-standing naming dispute with Greece. 8 years ago, in 2016, Pope Francis and Patriarch Kirill signed an ecumenical declaration in the first such meeting between leaders of the Catholic and Russian Orthodox churches since their split in 1054. 15 years ago, in 2009, Colgan Air Flight 3407 crashes into a house in Clarence Center, New York, while on approach to Buffalo Niagara International Airport, killing all on board and one on the ground. 20 years ago, in 2004, the city of San Francisco begins issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples in response to a directive from Mayor Gavin Newsom. 22 years ago, in 2002, the trial of Slobodan Milosevic, the former president of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, begins at the United Nations International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia in The Hague, Netherlands. He dies 4 years later before its conclusion. In the same year, an Iran Air Tour Tupolev Tu-154 crashes in the mountains outside Karamabad, Iran, while descending for a landing at Karamabad Airport, killing 119. 23 years ago, in 2001, NEAR Shoemaker spacecraft touches down in the Saddle region of 433 Eros, becoming the first spacecraft to land on an asteroid. 25 years ago, in 1999, United States President Bill Clinton is acquitted by the United States Senate in his impeachment trial. 30 years ago, in 1994, 4 thieves break into the National Gallery of Norway and steal Edvard Munch's iconic painting, The Scream. 31 years ago, in 1993, 2-year-old James Bulger is abducted from New Strand Shopping Centre by 2 10-year-old boys who later torture and murder him. "32 years ago, in 1992, the current constitution of Mongolia comes into effect. 34 years ago, in 1990, Carmen Lawrence becomes the first female premier in Australian history when she becomes Premier of Western Australia. 36 years ago, in 1988, in the Cold War 1988 Black Sea bumping incident, the US missile cruiser USS Yorktown is intentionally rammed by the Soviet frigate Bezavetny in the Soviet territorial waters, while Yorktown claims innocent passage. 41 years ago, in 1983, 100 women protest in Lahore, Pakistan, against military dictator Zia-ul-Haq's proposed law of evidence. The women were tear-gassed, baton-charged, and thrown into lockup. The women were successful in repealing the law. 50 years ago, in 1974, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1970, is exiled from the Soviet Union. "56 years ago in 1968, Phong Ni and Phong Nhat massacre. 59 years ago in 1965, Malcolm X visits Smethwick near Birmingham following the racially charged 1964 United Kingdom general election. 61 years ago in 1963, construction begins on the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri. In the same year, Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 705 crashes into the Everglades shortly after takeoff from Miami International Airport, killing all 45 people on board. 63 years ago in 1961, the Soviet Union launches Venera 1 towards Venus. 77 years ago in 1947, the largest observed iron meteorite until that time creates an impact crater in Sikhote-Alin in the Soviet Union. In the same year, Christian Dior unveils a new look, helping Paris regain its position as the capital of the fashion world. 78 years ago in 1946 in World War II, Operation Deadlight ends after scuttling 121 of 154 captured U-boats. 78 years ago in 1946, African-American United States Army veteran Isaac Woodard is severely beaten by a South Carolina police officer to the point where he loses his vision in both eyes. The incident later galvanizes the civil rights movement and partially inspires Orson Welles' film Touch of Evil. 79 years ago in 1945, a devastating tornado outbreak in Mississippi and Alabama kills 45 people and injures 427 others. 89 years ago in 1935, USS Macon, one of the two largest helium-filled airships ever created, crashes into the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California and sinks. 103 years ago in 1921, Bolsheviks launch a revolt in Georgia as a preliminary to the Red Army invasion of Georgia. The Second Regional Congress of Peasants, Workers and Insurgents is held by the Makhnovshchina at Huliaipol. 112 years ago in 1912, the Xuantong Emperor, the last emperor of China, abdicates. 115 years ago in 1909, the National Association for the Advancement of Coloured People is founded. In the same year, New Zealand's worst maritime disaster of the 20th century happens when the SS Penguin, an inter-island ferry, sinks and explodes at the entrance to Wellington Harbour. 130 years ago in 1894, anarchist Emile Henry hurls a bomb into the Café Terminus in Paris, killing one person and wounding 20. 135 years ago in 1889, Antonin Dvorak's Jacobin is premiered at National Theatre in Prague. 192 years ago in 1832, Ecuador annexes the Galapagos Islands. 199 years ago in 1825, the Creek cede the last of their lands in Georgia to the United States government by the Treaty of Indian Springs and migrate west. 206 years ago in 1818, Bernardo O'Higgins formally approves the Chilean Declaration of Independence near Concepcion, Chile. 207 years ago in 1817, an Argentine-Chilean patriotic army, after crossing the Andes, defeats Spanish troops at the Battle of Chacabuco. 253 years ago in 1771, Gustav III becomes a king of Sweden. 291 years ago in 1733, Georgia Day, Englishman James Oglethorpe founds Georgia, the 13th colony of the 13 colonies, by settling at Savannah. 335 years ago in 1689, the Convention Parliament declares that the flight to France in 1688 by James II, the last Roman Catholic British monarch, constitutes an abdication. 431 years ago in 1593, in the Japanese invasion of Korea, approximately 3,000 Joseon defenders, led by General Kwon Il, successfully repel more than 30,000 Japanese forces in the siege of Haeunju. 483 years ago in 1541, Santiago, Chile, is founded by Pedro de Valdivia. 522 years ago in 1502, Isabella I issues an edict outlawing Islam in the Crown of Castile, forcing virtually all her Muslim subjects to convert to Christianity. 522 years ago in 1502, Vasco da Gama set sail with 15 ships and 800 men from Lisbon, Portugal, on his second voyage to India. 595 years ago in 1429, English forces under Sir John Fastolf defend a supply convoy carrying rations to the army besieging Orleans in the Battle of the Herrings. 620 years ago in 1404, the Italian professor Galeazzo di Santa Sofia performed the first post-mortem autopsy for the purposes of teaching and demonstration at the Heiligen Geist Spital in Vienna. 928 years ago in 1096, Pope Urban II confirms the foundation of the Abbey of Larue under Robert of Arbrissel as a community of canons regular. So that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you found our little trip back through history both relaxing and informative. If you did indeed like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and also consider leaving a comment below. All feedback is very much welcome. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. It will really help the channel grow and will ensure that you are notified of future videos. Be sure to turn on notifications so that you are notified of future videos as soon as they are posted. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next time.